So I was thinking I could, based on all the information I put together, the various videos I've looked at and watching the trial itself, I could give you a general idea of what I would expect the prosecution's closing to sound like. I would expect Binger to come with something like this. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, thank you for serving. It's a very important, solemn duty you guys have, and in this particular case, it's close to home. We have the defendant who saw these videos of riots and everything on TV, saw the media talking about these dangerous rioters, and he figured, I'm going to do something about it. I'm going to take it into my own hands, the law, I'm going to take it into my own hands. But that's not happening down the street from his house, is it? No. He drove into our state, into our city, into our community, and he brought his high-powered assault rifle and figured he would do whatever it takes, take out some protesters if necessary. Whatever he had to do to prevent people from rioting or protesting in an unruly manner, whatever he felt personally he didn't want to permit, he made that decision and he came to our town with his weapon to do it. You'll notice throughout the evening, he wasn't walking around just helping people. He was quite aggressive. He knows, as he said on the stand, he's not allowed to use his weapon to threaten people's lives to protect property. He can do so for various reasons, none of which include protecting property, and he knows there are consequences for that behavior. Earlier in the evening, as you heard prosecution's witness Richie McGinnis testify, he was talking to the man who's been known as Yellow Pants Man. He pointed his rifle at Yellow Pants Man. And why? According to the guy, Yellow Pants Man, it was because he was on a car. Him and his friends were damaging property. So Kyle decided to point his rifle at them and threaten their lives to protect property, knowing full well he wasn't allowed to do so. This shows a pattern, as a matter of fact. You'll see throughout the night he exhibited aggressive behavior on several occasions. Later in the night, more specifically, as he approached the car source property, he saw some other people damaging property. They were damaging a car and lighting it on fire. So what did Kyle Rittenhouse do? He approached those people and again threatened their lives with a high-powered assault rifle aimed right at them. What happened as a result? Well, Joseph Rosenbaum, he felt that his life and the lives of others were in danger. Clearly, any rational person would. So he gave chase. He did what he could to defend himself, to protect his own life and that of his other fellow members of the community. He chased Kyle Rittenhouse to scare him off, and it worked at first. Kyle Rittenhouse ran away until Joseph Rosenbaum felt that he had enough space. He slowed down. He figured, I've won. Kyle is leaving. This dangerous person is no longer here to threaten our lives. But right at that moment, Kyle didn't have enough. He wanted an excuse, and he got one. He turned around and he aimed his rifle right at Joseph Rosenbaum again. He threatened his life yet again, even though Joseph Rosenbaum had already chased him off. So he didn't have a choice. Joseph Rosenbaum had to chase Kyle further, and eventually, despite the fact that Kyle could have kept running, he reached Kyle as Kyle slowed down. He did the only thing he could do to save his own life and that of his friends, and he tried to swat Kyle's rifle away. If he didn't, Kyle certainly would have shot him, and that's exactly what happened. Kyle stopped, he aimed his weapon, his high-powered assault rifle at Mr. Rosenbaum, and he fired. Boom, 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 boom! One of which being the kill shot. He took his life and took the father of a young baby girl away. He did that carelessly and recklessly, knowing full well that his behavior wasn't legal. He knew that by threatening people's lives, he was going to provoke the exact incident that occurred with Mr. Rosenbaum. And then from that point forward, he can essentially draw the line and say that provocative behavior not only caused the interaction with Rosenbaum and the eventual shooting, but the subsequent shootings as a result, because everybody else was then defending themselves and the community from this active shooter, which all resulted from the initial provocative act of the shooting with Rosenbaum, right? So pointing the gun at them was the provocative act that justified Rosenbaum chasing him and going after him. Shooting Rosenbaum was then the illegal provocative act that justified everybody else trying to stop Kyle and disarm him in the street as he continued to shoot other people. That's definitely the angle they're going with. You can tell every detail of the case the prosecution has put together points to that, because the way they put together the testimony and tried to frame the yellow pants guy as a victim of Kyle assaulting him by pointing the rifle at him to simply protect property, all the way to what they did with the last minute admitted evidence of what we now know to be nonsensical image of a single still frame showing Kyle allegedly pointing the rifle at the Zeminskis. That's what I expect from the prosecution to close with, and hopefully the defense is prepared and knows what they're going to get hit with, so they can respond in kind on rebuttal. I guess we'll see.